I'm being asked a lot these days in private messages what my opinion is about this particular camera over another. And I absolutely love engaging with all of you guys and sharing my views and opinions about it. But it's very difficult sometimes to give the right advice because I don't know how far into your content creation career you are, what access to equipment you have, or what equipment you own. So these are conversations that they go on behind the scenes, but I wanted to make this quick video to show you how I would go about it if I was to buy a new camera or moving from, say, Canon into Sony, and I was to make that decision in the next 1 or 2 weeks, because there is a fair bit of money involved. And hopefully this will help you avoiding making mistakes that you will regret later on. And the best thing is that this doesn't just apply to camera equipment, it could also apply to expensive lighting or grip equipment. The biggest mistake I see people doing when buying new equipment is to do it on the back of watching some reviews on YouTube. And don't get me wrong, we all watch them, we all have our favorite channels, and by no means I'm suggesting that you don't do that. But you need to understand that those reviews are very subjective to that person's particular circumstances, and those might be very different than yours. My advice is do not buy any camera equipment, or any equipment for that matter, when it's announced. Don't put any pre-orders. The world is not going to come to an end, believe it or not. Nothing's going to happen. Wait and then watch some reviews from people that have been using it for a number of weeks or a couple of months. If you really are too excited over it, just wait until your local rental company has it in stock and then just rent it from them. Just go on Google and search, let's say A7S III, and then just go A7S III hire, and wherever it is that you live, there will be a rental company that you can contact and then rent it from them. They usually work on 3-day weeks. Sometimes the weekend is charged at 1 day, and work out a deal with them. Get that camera or lenses or setup and then use it and work out whether that is exactly what you want and whether it suits the equipment that you have, what you plan to do, the type of work that you do. Just understand whether that camera equipment is going to suit your needs and then make the purchase. You know, this way you'll be saving a lot of money. Yes, you'll be spending $300, $400, $600 in a rental for however many days, but it's not the same as spending $6,000, $7,000, $9,000, $10,000 on camera and then lenses and batteries and accessories and memory cards, and the list go on. So just rent it, understand whether that works for you, and then spend the money. Let me show you exactly in the computer what I mean by this. Okay, so here we are in the almighty Google, and let's say that for the sake of this video, we're going to be upgrading to the new fancy Sony FX3. You've probably seen loads of YouTube reviews about this camera, going through the specs, and it's a nice camera. But let's just see what the costs are. You got the camera, which is nearly $4,000. You got 3 batteries, $78, a wide-angle lens, $2,000, a variable ND, a couple of memory cards, because everything comes separate. Everything you need to buy separately. These might come with a camera, these might not. You need to find out, but that will set you back another $120. A bit of a longer lens, 24 to 70. You know, you're hovering around $9,000. You may not need this lens, you might want this lens, you might want a tripod, you might add a few things, but you know, you're close to around $10,000. Now this is a serious investment. So you better have some work to justify this expense. Unless you won the lottery, and obviously money is not an issue, but for most people, you better justify this price tag, because you can do a lot of YouTube content with much cheaper cameras. But what I'm trying to say here is that let's say that you bought into this idea and you fixed on it, and you want to make sure that you're not going to be wasting your money, because you spend $9,000 and let's say that it doesn't work for you for whatever reason. The file sizes are too big, you don't have a fast computer that can move that footage, you don't have business for it, it's sitting on a shelf collecting dust for, you know, most of the month, if not every quarter. So you return it, you may incur on some penalties. Anyway, it's just a plain headache. So what you should do is go to just Google and just say, let's say that we are in New York City. So let's say Sony FX3 hire New York City. There you go. And you got a few places, and obviously I don't live in New York City, but let's say that we go here, okay? First page, you probably know, if you live in New York, you probably know someone. It could be anywhere in Memphis, in California, in LA, anywhere. Just do the same thing. So here, the weekend rent is 175, a daily rate is 175. It's just, you know, basically, I went and did a bit of a quick list, okay? And that comes to $285 for the weekend. And obviously, I would, I don't know whether you might have a tripod or not. A lot of the times they throw the tripod in. You should bring them up and try and haggle and see if you can get it for less than that. That's my advice. I wouldn't just pay from the website. I would send them an email and say, look, I'm looking for Sony FX3. Could you give me a package or a deal for these days? I'm looking for this amount of storage, these lenses, and you'd be amazed what discounts you can get if you ask for it. So never ever in a rental company go and pay from here. It's just idiotic. Yeah, you're gonna be paying top dollar, and nobody does it. You could probably squeeze this down to like $200 or even less, depending on how desperate the company is. And my advice is, if you want to do this, do it towards the end of the month, around the 25th or 27th, and say that you're paying cash. And believe me, when people's wages are around the corner, you'd be amazed what deals you can get from rental companies. So, just rent this equipment and find out over the weekend, over a week. You could get a whole week for $300. Trust me, you can do that. And the same applies in the UK. It's 140 for the camera. You apply the same thing. They throw in so much stuff, and then add a lens and a tripod. They probably throw in the tripod for free, but you'd be paying peanuts compared to $9,000. Or you could probably beef this up to 10 or 11 grand if you add a tripod and a few fancy bits, a couple of lights. So it makes a lot more sense to rent the camera and then find out for sure whether it works with your workflow. And then if you're still happy at the end of it, go and buy it. And then you know for sure that what you're buying is going to fit exactly in your needs. You can clearly see how easy it is to work out a deal from a rental company and avoid having to spend the money on new equipment that you might regret later on. Because you need to understand that sometimes it's not just the camera that you need to buy into new batteries, memory cards, card readers, lenses. If you move from Canon to Sony, that alone is going to set you back a few $1,000s on lenses alone, a new tripod, lights. I mean, there's just so many elements that go into upgrading to new equipment or migrating from one brand to another. Anyway, I hope you like this quick and simple video that I did. I had to get this off my chest because it's just so many people asking me the same questions, and it's frustrating because I want to give the right advice, but sometimes it's really, really difficult. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It's all about this algorithm these days. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It's really nice to see the numbers going up. And, look, we'll see you in the next video.